clash of women's soccer titans. Stanford Cardinal hosting the #1 UCLA with a perfect record.
Finding some space. Oh! UCLA knocks off #2 Duke. Head to Montoya. Score! Stanford Card beat the 8th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions.
And that is a go-ahead goal by the Bruins on the road.
Sunshine with the bright finish.
Williams, pretty cross, finishes! Massive victory here on the farm. Good evening from beautiful Stanford, California, where two of the best women's soccer teams in the country are ready to square off. It's the 9th-ranked Stanford Cardinal looking to spoil the undefeated season of the top-ranked UCLA Bruins. The Bruins yet to lose this season, Stanford yet to lose on the farm this season, meaning this should be a really fun one. With that, we welcome you inside of Kagan Stadium. I'm Kyla Mills alongside former Bruin and all Pac-10 forward Tracy Bailey. So excited for tonight's match. Two of the best teams in the country that play a bit of a similar style of possession soccer. What are you expecting to see tonight?
Well, I expect a great match. This is a top 10 matchup in conference play, a sold-out Kagan Stadium. It's going to be a good one.
This crowd hoping to cheer Stanford on to victory. However, the Bruins with so many weapons, including attacking midfielder Sunshine Fontes. What makes her so dynamic?
Well, she's so dynamic because she knows how to attack the goal and score goals. She is so dominant with each foot, left or right. It does not matter. She's dangerous in front of net. She also has the ability to dish off to her teammates, find her teammates, and set them up as well. So she'll look to combine or go for the attack for the Bruins here today.
For the Stanford side, their attack led by one of the hottest freshmen in the country, and Louis Kostmeyer, 9 goals on the season. What makes her so potent?
Well, she's certainly playing beyond her years, and she's just a physically dominant player for Stanford, who leads her team in points with 9 goals and 2 assists, which also ranks first among all Pac-12 freshmen. And she has a nose for the goal. She's soft touch, she's deceptively quick, and Kostmeyer will look to cause problems for the Bruins in and around the 18 here tonight.
Don't go anywhere. A really fun matchup just ahead. It's the Stanford Cardinal hosting the UCLA Bruins. We've got lineups and kickoff coming up right here on the Pac-12 Network. Stick around. Welcome inside of Kagan Stadium for today's Pac-12 Network broadcast. Stanford hosting the top-ranked UCLA Bruins. And this is a really special match for both these teams. This marks Stanford's mental health awareness match. Mental health awareness shirts were given out to fans at the gates. Fans were encouraged to share positive mental health messages on a wall of wellness at the entrance to the stadium. Fans were also encouraged to wear green in support of mental health awareness. Stanford also was wearing Mental Health Matters warm-up shirts as they were getting ready. You see them here to play today's match. Now, this cause is really near and dear to the hearts of all of these players after they lost former goalkeeper Katie Meyer back on March 1st of this year. The girls playing this season for her, and this is just something that means a lot to them. They really want to make sure they're sparking a conversation about mental health.
Oh, absolutely. And Coach Paul Radcliffe for Stanford says that mental health is a huge concern for everyone, and he wants to start the conversation, and his group is just trying to have the ability to open up whatever is good for you, whatever brings you joy. Let's continue to do those things. Let's continue to bring that joy to yourself. And he's just so proud of his group and how they're starting to get rid of that stigma that mental health has. And they're starting to change that. They're game changers. They're not just, trying to accept it. They're trying to change the way that we talk about mental health, which is so great.
It really is impressive the way the Stanford team has taken the initiative to really want to champion that cause and to start that conversation. And we are underway here at Kagan Stadium. Stanford on the left side of your screen in all black home kits today. Going to the right, UCLA in all white. On the right side of your screen going left. Head coach Paul Radcliffe leading the Stanford side. One of the most storied coaches in women's college soccer. Looking for an upset over top-ranked UCLA. The last time Stanford beat a #1 opponent was 2002 when Stanford defeated first-ranked Santa Clara 3-0 in the first match of the season. UCLA looking to get something going early here, and they're attacking third. That ball will go over the end line for a Stanford goal kick.
Well, and I think with both of these teams, we expect similar styles, right? They both want the ball at their feet. They both want to possess the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see which team will be able to enable their game plan in terms of keeping possession and working the ball through.
Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention these two teams have similar styles because of the coaching and the connection there. UCLA's head coach Marguerite Awasaza is in her first season as the head coach after spending 7 seasons as an assistant under Stanford head coach Paul Ratcliffe. She told us she took a lot away from that time she spent with Paul, and they both really shared that same mentality of wanting their teams to possess and really play a pretty style of the beautiful game.
And that's absolutely right, as you take a look at Coach Marguerite Awasaza. But she also talked about that decision-making that she inherited from Paul Ratcliffe, the appreciation for players that can make decisions out there on the pitch. And she says, you know, if it was a perfect world, her team would have all 11 coaches out there on the field at any given time. But we understand that, you know, it takes time for these players to be able to start to make decisions for themselves on the field. So she said that she's happy with the progress so far.
Coach Awasaza, also a Bay Area native and graduate of Los Altos High School. She also played under Jerry Smith at Santa Clara, another storied head coach in the women's collegiate game. She played there from 2008 to 2011 before moving on to work under Paul Ratcliffe, and she had a hand in recruiting a lot of these Stanford players that you're watching here today. The Bruins now getting out in space, looking to potentially counter here as we approach the 3rd minute of action at Kagan Stadium. Ali Montoya there on that far side for Stanford, one of the freshmen who's been really impressive this season. She earned a brace last weekend as Stanford defeated Washington 2-1 on Thursday. It'll be interesting to see what ends up being the difference maker when it comes to two teams with such high quality playing against each other. UCLA looking wide, McMahon trying to make something happen. Shot swung in, tipped away by Campbell. Well read by Stanford goalkeeper Ryan Campbell to just send that one out from the corner. It looked like a very dangerous shot. UCLA still on the attack, trying to swing a cross in. Well defended by Kennedy Wesley there on that far side.
This will be a good opportunity on a set piece for the Bruins, but before that, what an excellent ball into the far post. Just looking for a player. She had 2 there. Raylan Turner was almost on it, but great decision-making by Ryan Campbell for Stanford to come out and intercept that one.
Set pieces have been a bit of a problem for the Stanford side. They conceded 2 goals last weekend on set pieces, 1 on a corner. UCLA swinging in an outswinger towards the penalty spot, headed away by Wesley. Stanford trying to gain control. Angie on the far side. Grubel now in space. One thing that Ratcliffe talked with us about is on set pieces, he feels like a majority of the difference maker there is the mentality, the players bringing that courage, that bravery to go after the ball, and then just the mentality of being ball winners.
Oh, absolutely. And you think about the game of soccer, the drawn out plays, so to speak, the only time you have an opportunity to do those are on the set pieces. So it really is that mentality, because you know where the opposing team wants to make their runs, where they want to attack and where they want to send the ball. So it's just being stuck in, being disciplined, following your runners, and making sure you're locked in.
Set pieces surely could end up being the difference tonight, as these two sides are just such high quality. Early in this match, UCLA so far with the only real dangerous opportunity we've seen. And on that shot for the Bruins was Bridget Marin Valencia, a freshman who's earning her first collegiate start here in today's match.
Yeah, that's right. And Coach Marguerite Awasaza said that she had probably her most impactful minutes that last match against Arizona, so she earns the start here today.
She made her presence felt early, swinging that ball in a really dangerous spot at the far side of the 6. A well-placed ball by Marin Valencia. Stanford now possessing out the back.
You can see right now UCLA just sitting back a little bit, allowing Stanford to possess around the back, and then when they start to come forward near that midline, that's when they're starting to apply the pressure.
Ball from Marin Valencia trying to find Fontes, intercepted, and Stanford regains possession. Grubel now working the right flank. When you do have a team that's sitting back a little bit more like UCLA is, what do you need to do in your attack in order to try to break them down?
Well, I think you just continue to possess, but you're trying to swing the ball in a way that opens up an area where there is some space to find in a player to go forward. So you're trying to break that first line of pressure, and then things will start to open up after that.
Montoya on that far side looking to break open into some space. However, she was well defended. Montoya, though, a freshman who's made an impact for the Stanford side. As I mentioned earlier, she just has such a quick touch, and then also that change of speed is something that's really impressive about the way she plays. Stanford trying to make something happen on the far side. UCLA now looking to counter. Ball controlled by the Bruins. Here comes Marin Valencia. She'll go all the way back, and they look to change fields. Nice fake, and you saw, speaking of change in speed by Mary Carmen Reyes.
And they'll look to try to exploit some space. Both of these sides are going to want to try to get some 1v1 situations in these wide areas of the field. That time it was Mary Carmen Reyes for UCLA trying to utilize that spaces out there on the flanks.
One thing Stanford coach Ratcliffe mentioned is that he feels like winning your individual battles is going to be key for his team when you do have two sides that play similarly. It's a matter of focusing on your individual matchup and doing what you need to do to get to every ball first, win those balls, make smart decisions.
And the same goes with those set pieces that we talked about. It's really is a matter of mental awareness, mental toughness to stay locked in those moments, in those vulnerable moments, when you really have to be sharp in making split-second decisions. Excuse me. So I agree. I totally agree. When you have these top matchups with these top players, that's what it's going to come down to.
Set piece is surely a big part of winning those individual battles. Rubenstein now coming up the right flank, motioning for someone to move and look to get open for her as she'll swing the ball back. Stanford plays to Elise Evans. Freshman Jasmine Ike on the ball there a moment ago, earning her 9th start on the season. A tough play on the far side. Kelly Pagador on the ball. No whistle. Leontini to Grubel now on the right side. Grubel working. Grubel takes a chance herself. It'll bounce safely into the hands of Lauren Brisky.
And what a smart switch over to find Grubel from Leontini. And Grubel so crafty with that left foot, trying to just swing it in. Not a lot of pace on it, though. Brisky was able to read it for UCLA.
Brisky also a really tough goalkeeper to beat, especially on shots that far away. She's only given up 6 goals on the season, a .52 goals against average. That's good for the best in the Pac-12. She also was recently named the Pac-12 Goalie of the Week, and she's on the Mac Herman Trophy watch list. Ball forward to Kosmeyer, can't quite get there. Brisky off her line, makes the save.
And as she holds that, you can just see her, slow down, calming her team down. And that's one thing Coach Marguerite said about her. She's that calming presence back there for the Bruins.
Brisky looking to cap off a really impressive career for the Bruins. Second team All-Region and All-Pac-12 selection last season, starting all 20 games. She led the Pac-12 and was top 10 nationally with a .55 goals against average. Stanford now possessing out the back. Wesley to Pagador. Pagador resets. Ike back to Elise Evans. Evans finds Leontini. No space in front of Leontini, though. UCLA doing a good job of clogging up the middle here early in this one.
Yeah, and Stanford really showing some good patience, not really forcing anything. If it's not on, they just want to maintain possession, reset, and see if they can find some space elsewhere.
The Stanford group, a pretty young group, as they have 4 freshmen in the starting lineup right now out of that 9 freshman class for head coach Paul Ratcliffe. He's been really impressed by the way a lot of them have been developing throughout the season, adjusting to the collegiate game. Lumi Kosmeyer starting up front, Ike, Montoya, and Elise Evans in the back line.
And I think that's when you know you have a good team. One sign is you're not sure who you're going to have be in that starting 11 in Pac-12 conference play.
We're in Valencia, finds McMahon. McMahon swings the ball, back of the 6, headed towards Campbell. She makes the diving save. Ryan Campbell diving to her right to keep that one safely out of net. However, another dangerous opportunity for the Bruins, swinging in across.
Not a lot on it, though.
Stanford now trying to get out of pressure here early in this one. And as you were talking about Coach Ratcliffe having a tough time deciding who's going to start, on any given night, a player can come off the bench and impact the game. These Stanford reserves have accounted for 16 of the Cardinals' 38 goals this season and 13 of their 28 assists, which is just a testament to how deep this roster is.
Oh, absolutely, and it seems like that's a problem that Coach Ratcliffe has year after year. He just has a very deep team, so the depth definitely here a part of this team this season.
This UCLA side, deep as well, though. Another thing that Coach Owasaza is similar to Coach Ratcliffe in is that they've made a lot of substitutions in a lot of games this season because she trusts the talent level that she has on her bench. Dangerous ball played across. Wesley hits the turf hard while trying to clear that ball away.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. If you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego. I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Took a smack from Raylan Turner, who was trying to chase down that ball. Something Coach Ratcliffe talked about was the decision making. Do you feel like that was a dangerous ball to play square in that defensive third there?
It was a dangerous ball to play, and probably not one that they want to do again, especially with Raylan Turner charging, trying to apply the pressure. So far, though, I think that Stanford has done a good job of making those decisions as to when to possess, when to go forward, when to keep the ball, and not trying to force too much.
Big ball forward is headed away. UCLA regains possession as they now look to work out their defensive third. Marin Valencia can't get there. Rubenstein connects with Leontini, now working the right flank. Marin Valencia with a slide tackle to send that ball out of bounds. Rubenstein resets. Evans swings it to Wesley. Ike under pressure, just able to one-touch that ball back to Evans. Another big ball forward, well defended. McMahon able to head that one away as the Bruins try to get possession. Rubles, ball deflected out of bounds. Stanford throw in. Kosmeyer to Grubel. Grubel looks for the left-footed cross. It's deflected away. Well defended. Once again, Marin Valencia getting in the mix.
It's a good read and step in by Real for the Bruins, that center back.
UCLA on the counter. UCLA out in space. Wesley trying to get to a ball played down the line first. She'll clear it away one time. Bruins take the throw in. Ball played back to Lemos, the freshman out of Glendora, California. Here come the Bruins, little one-touch passing, nice combination. Fontes just loses the handles. Ali Montoya now battling on the far side. Montoya does well to win possession. With space now in the middle. Her ball played forward just to no one and out of bounds.
Yeah, and I think doing all that work for Montoya out there on the wing, she's gonna wanna keep it there. Just pass it back to a defender, keep possession.
Pagador wins the header on the throw-in. Stanford back in the driver's seat. Swung out to Rubenstein, finds Grubel, will play it right back.
It really seems like both teams just trying to sort of feel each other out at the moment. A lot of passing it around the back, trying to see where the space is going to be that they can exploit the other team.
A nice idea for a give and go between Rubenstein and Grubel, however, determined just out of bounds for a UCLA throw. McMahon trying to find someone. Cook unable to collect. UCLA now swinging the ball around the back, resetting. Lemos with space in the middle. Lemos getting forward. Nice ball played outside. Ball swung right back across the box. It's into the hands of Ryan Campbell for the save.
And I like that attack last led by Ali Lemos for UCLA. There was space in front of her. So often you see players just try to release the ball so quickly, but not eat up that space in front of her. And that's exactly what she did. She continued on the dribble, sprung it out wide, and then a nice cross in, just no Bruin to get on the end of it.
Speaking of freshmen making an impact, not just on the Stanford side, Lemos, a freshman for UCLA who started every game this season. She has 1 goal and 5 assists on the season for the Bruins, tied for the most assists on the team.
She actually leads the team as a freshman in minutes, most minutes played by a field player, so certainly having an impact immediately as a freshman.
It's just so impressive that these freshmen are able to adjust to the speed of play and physicality of this game so quickly when you talk about some of these players on both sides playing at the highest level of women's college soccer. Ball swung across, doesn't get to Leontini, and we have a whistle.
Looks like it's Lemos down. Good to see her pop back up.
Lemos with a smile on her face as she walks it off, is able to jog back up into position.
This ball just gets crossed in. You see Lemos there and then gets knocked, it looked like, by Leontini for Stanford, trying to get on the end of that cutback.
Ball sent forward. Marin Valencia able to get a flick off her head. Battling around the middle of the pitch. Evans sends one forward. Kosmeyer trying to run it down. Reel's pass intercepted by Jasmine Ike. UCLA on the attack. McMahon cuts middle. One touch by Fontes. A little battle with Marin Valencia and Abby Grubel. Whistle blows. It'll be a Bruins kick. They'll play back in quickly. Big lofting ball forward. Battle in the 18. Stanford comes out on the right side of it. Cook trying to get there and make something happen for the Bruins.
And it really looks like UCLA is trying to go direct. They see perhaps a mismatch in size with Cook in there standing at 5'9".
Stanford's back line not particularly tall when it comes to the size matchups. Kennedy Wesley, a shorter player at 5'5". Elise Evans, 5'7", on the taller side.
UCLA,
however, Cook is playing really big in there.
She is, and they also have Raylan Turner, who stands at 5'9", so perhaps trying to take advantage of that size with those long balls in.
Another dangerous set piece opportunity coming up here for the Bruins. Ball on the far side, players lined up just inside the 18. In swinger, cross the 6. Safely into the hands of Ryan Campbell as UCLA just battled to try to keep that one in bounds.
And it was a great idea, just a little bit too much on that ball sent in by Marin Valencia, looking for that far post runner.
Kosmeyer. Stanford with some nice passing in the middle of the pitch. Evans doesn't see anyone forward. She'll pull it back and Stanford will reset.
Oh, they got live video.
Evans on the ball, looking. She'll play a more direct ball forward. Brisky comes off her line, collects at the edge of the 18. It'll be interesting to see how this Bruins side responds after what Coach Oasasa described as a disappointing game against Arizona, where they ended up on top. However, she wasn't entirely happy with her team's patience and the way that they moved the ball in their attack.
Well, I think it's one thing that she mentioned too that resonated with me. She said that, you know, we were fortunate not to have to suffer a loss to make strides and to have some learning moments. So again, we'll have to see how her team responds, but I think that she was just a little confused as her team not having that energy and not bringing it. I think a lot of times too, you have those Sunday games, you tend to be a little bit more relaxed, a little step slower. So perhaps some of the things that UCLA was going through. But she also gave credit to a tough Arizona side who pulled off a big upset win a few days before at USC, so they were certainly running high.
Rubenstein trying to crack across, but it's deflected away. She gets the throw in now. Angie trying to find Kosmeyer, intercepted. UCLA now looking to counter. Turner out in space. Turner turning on the Jets, battling with Ike. Whistle is blown as Ike goes down, and the crowd here at Kagan Stadium not happy about that little bit of physical play there.
Well, the referee was right there to make the call, but Braylon Turner just turning on the Jets, and you can see the two black jerseys cutting her off there. Braylon trying to continue on. A little handsy, a little too much. An easy call for the referee to make.
Turner, a dangerous player for this UCLA side, starting now her 13th game of the season. 7 goals and 2 assists on the season. Second on the team with 16 points. Playing up top in the 7 or 11 position typically. She was second team all region and all Pac-12 last season. A player with just a lot of speed and technical skill.
And Coach Awaza was really high on Turner and says that really at any given moment she can be that game changer for the Bruins. So certainly something that Stanford must be aware of in terms of her positioning on the field at all times.
Here come the Bruins. Real getting forward. Connects with Marin Valencia. Valencia at the edge of the 18. Takes a shot. It sails over. Marin Valencia able to get some space, but couldn't keep the shot on frame.
Just a great decision as that ball got played in. Kennedy Wesley for Stanford dropped off, and Marin Valencia was able to recognize that, so she almost backpedaled to let that ball come into her, had the turn, had some space, and elected to take the shot.
Marin Valencia really has looked sharp here early in this one, as we discussed. This is her first start coming in as a freshman.
And you can see here, just watch, she kind of let it go back because she had the space to turn. Usually you have a defender on your hip, so it's tight for you to turn in that situation. But Marin Valencia recognizing that, turning, facing up, seeing she had the space, and took a decent shot on goal.
It feels like early in today's match, Stanford's had a good run of possession, but UCLA really creating more goal-scoring opportunities.
That's right. I would say that the possession is tilted in Stanford's favor at the moment, but UCLA doing a better job of creating those chances and being dangerous around the 18, in and around the 18.
Limo switching fields. Ball just goes out of bounds off the foot of Madeline Desiano. Pagador on the throw-in now for Stanford. Player is looking for a call. Another dangerous ball played forward. Stanford trying to get out of pressure. Marin Valencia on her left foot. Valencia working. Valencia to Fontes. Fontes trying to battle. Leontini comes up with it for Stanford. Her pass nearly intercepted. Angie now battling. Rubenstein finds Grubel on the right flank. Grubel's foot gets clipped. She goes down as she gets out in space.
And again, the Stanford fans not happy with that one, but it looked like it was not intentional, as Marin Valencia was trying to get back into position.
Ike with the chip, trying to find Montoya and Kostmeyer both in the same space. Montoya is able to collect. Montoya on the dribble. Montoya working in the left corner. Montoya staying on the ball. Double teamed, goes down, and it will be a whistle. Stanford earns a dangerous set piece of their own on the left corner.
And that's just great individual work and effort from Ali Montoya, trying to do anything to come up with something.
Freshman Jasmine Ike will stand over this one as Montoya gets into the box. Ike's ball played in, driven ball towards the near post, deflected away. Angie trying to collect. Angie battling. It looks like it'll be a whistle, possibly a handball here. UCLA with the free kick now.
Well, and as UCLA resets, that's an excellent free kick taken by the freshman Ike. And she's a freshman, but has developed into a leader for this Stanford team. And she steps up, takes a lot of the free kicks, has scored 2 goals off of set piece free kicks.
Ike just scored on a really pretty set piece rather, versus Washington State in Stanford's win on Sunday. Just a really well-struck ball that curled in from outside the 18.
Well, I think that says a lot, right? When you're just a freshman and you have the confidence to step up and take those, and not only just take them, you nail them and send them in the back of the net. So.
A couple of substitutions here for both sides. Sierra Angie retiring to the sidelines in favor of Maya Doms, who returns to the pitch for Stanford. Samantha Williams also making her way onto the pitch for the Card. Doms, a player well known to many Stanford fans and to women's college soccer fans in general. She did not start today after missing last weekend's games due to a family emergency. She had to be away from the team. However, she's an incredibly skillful player at that attacking midfield role in the 10 for Stanford. Nice ball chipped across by Grubel, headed away. Doms tried to get it under control but couldn't. Stanford still in the driver's seat. The Card coming out the back now. Wesley wide to Pagador. Pagador working. Doms with 3 goals and 3 assists on the season. 9 points, good for 4th on the team. She's also a team captain. Looking to cap off a really impressive career here on the farm. Doms had a team best 25 points on 11 goals and 3 assists last season. She was a United Soccer Coaches All-America 3rd team selection, All-Region and Pac-12 first team selections.
My girlfriend has it.
Well, and I think the Stanford team is just a more dominant team, clearly, with Doms on the field. She has that aggressive nature. She likes to attack the goal, so that opens up a lot more when you have somebody like that with that mentality.
Another substitution made for Stanford, and a player that can really elevate the level of play. Samantha Williams now on the right flank, number 25, who scored the game winner on Sunday against Washington State on just a really impressive run up the right flank, as she looks to do the same right now. Deflected out of bounds.
She was just so electric in that match, just creating things, especially in that second half, causing so much trouble for Washington State.
Doms out in space. Doms looking to break the line, just loses possession. A little bit of a missed touch there for Doms. Stanford applying pressure. Ike tries to find Grubel, well defended. Bruins now looking to reset, change fields as they work through their midfield. Pretty ball played forward. Well defended though by Stanford. That was Sophia Cook with a diagonal ball in for the Bruins. Sophia Cook, I feel like it's a theme of the day. Another freshman who's made an impact here for this UCLA Bruins team. Starting 7 games, playing in 12. 4 goals and 3 assists on the season, tied for 3rd on the team with 11 points. She's also a member of the U20 U.S. Women's National Team. Doms does well to win that ball. Leontini looking forward. Leontini to Rubenstein. Rubenstein, well defended. Rubenstein swings in across, deflected away. Ike back to Wesley. She's barely able to get there. She is under pressure by Cook. Out the edge of the 18, Grubel tries to get the flick off. Stanford with one of their best chances on the day as Brisky was well off her line.
And I think it probably was their best chance, but Abby Grubel right there is so good at really getting those tough angles down and getting something on target. But what a decision by Lauren Brisky to come out and challenge Grubel, who was able to get a hand on it.
Ike fires, it's a pretty shot, blocked by Brisky. Speaking of the outstanding goalkeeper for the Bruins.
Well, I'm not sure from first glance if it got a deflection on it, but Ike, what a nice move, cut over to her right, and I think it just dipped drastically. Brisky had a little trouble tracking it. So much pace on that shot by Ike. Brisky does well to deflect it up to herself, but lucky for her, there were no other Stanford players inside the 18 for that deflection.
Ike, a young player who seems to be only growing in confidence with every match, like many of these young players for both sides. Pagador on the throw now for Stanford on the far side. Pretty move by Ali Montoya, trying to keep it in bounds, just can't quite get there. Brisky's going to be a really, really tough goalkeeper to get one by for this Stanford side. She was the Pac-12 goalkeeper of the year as a junior, third-team All-American, just such a decorated career for this UCLA team. It was huge for them to get her back as a graduate student this season, and you mentioned the confidence she instills in this back line.
Well, and I think it says a lot too when you have a goalkeeper back there that you have that confidence in. Your back line, you trust that whatever goes back there, she's going to get on top of, and maybe you can take a little more risks in terms of being more aggressive defensively to get things going offensively.
Ike battling as we are still at 0-0 here at Kagan Stadium as 9th-ranked Stanford is hosting top-ranked UCLA. As we approach the 38th minute, we have a hard foul just at the edge of the attacking third for Stanford. Ike will stand over this free kick. And she'll back off and leave it for one of the defenders. Evans stepping up. Plays a short ball to Leontini. Leontini chips one forward. Two Stanford players running on. Dobbs and Grubel both trying to get there. Brisky once again does well to get off her line.
Well, and that punch out was so critical to get a lot on it because there were players inside the 18 for Stanford. Had Brisky deflected that and not gotten it outside the 18, it would have gone probably to a Stanford player.
Stanford now earns a corner kick. Ali Montoya standing over this one, looking to swing this ball in. The Card crowding the 18 around the edge of the 6 now. The cross is in, delivered towards the middle of the 6, headed away. Pagador looked to take a second crack at it. UCLA now on the counterattack with loads of space in front. Stanford trying to get numbers behind. Bruins pressing. We're in Valencia. Looking wide, Cook. Cook gets it on her right foot, cutting middle. Cook sends one, headed away by Wesley. Grubel now taps it forward, just looking to get it out of pressure.
And it was a nice sequence by the Bruins on the counterattack, trying to push and get numbers forward.
So far, even between these two sides, in their past meetings, UCLA has won the last 2 straight. Stanford looking to end that streak tonight, while they hold the overall edge between these two teams, an 18-13-2 series edge for the Card. Now, you mentioned when you were playing for the Bruins, still a little bit of a rivalry, not quite to the level that it is today when these two teams meet. Two powerhouses in the Northern-Southern California rivalry going.
That's right. I think the difference is Paul Radcliffe. I think that once he came to town, his team started to become that much better and that much more dominant.
Ratcliffe just putting together an unbelievable career here on the farm. More than 400 wins overall as a head coach, 350 of them here for Stanford. Certainly leading this program to the top.
And I think what's most impressive and what really speaks to me a lot is when you hear Coach Ratcliffe talk about his players. He doesn't just talk about them as soccer players. He talks about them as women and as future leaders and wanting to really build them up as great human beings, which I think is so special.
Grubel now by herself on the counter. Grubel tries to slot one across the 18 for Doms. Well read by UCLA. Big ball forward. Stanford able to clear it away off the foot of Evans.
I think both sides really doing a good job of managing these wide areas. I thought we were going to see a lot more things come from these areas and these spaces for each side, but it seems like both sides really locking those up.
Well, we're talking about the coaches, another coaching connection. UCLA is Coach Paul Ratcliffe's alma mater. He played for the Bruins from 1994 to 97. Shot swung in just wide. No problem for Ryan Campbell between the pipes. Ratcliffe won a Pac-10 title and reached the NCAA quarterfinals with the Bruins, was a 4-year starter in the midfield. Also was an assistant at his alma mater for several seasons before coming to the farm. So a lot of overlapping here between these two sides. Rubenstein working the near side. Does well to battle, finds Grubel. Ball out of bounds, headed for Williams. Williams pretty touch down the right flank. Williams cross swung in, blocked away. UCLA once again weathers the storm. Cut by Leontini. Leontini trying to find Grubel. Well read. Bruins trying to get out in space. A well-timed tackle by Paige Rubenstein. Ali Montoya now going the other way. Montoya on the left side. Montoya's cross swung in. That will go out of bounds, and she earns another corner kick for the Card here as we approach the 44th minute. Second corner on the match for Stanford.
I think starting to cook up there on the flanks. It was Williams on the right, Montoya on the left.
The crowd starting to buzz here at Stanford Stadium, or Kagan Stadium rather, on the Stanford campus. Montoya's cross is in, near post, bouncing, and it's in! Elise Evans able to get on the end of the corner kick. It's Stanford 1, UCLA 0.
When you felt like Stanford was starting to get going, and we talked about things being so tight between these two teams, what is it going to take? Well, this time it's a set piece, and this ball sent in beautifully. Evans initially deflects it down, and it lands to her feet, and then she just turns on it, and just trying to get anything on net, on frame, is Evans, and it winds up in the back of the net, putting Stanford up 1-0.
The freshman center back, Elise Evans, with her second goal of the season. The first also came on a corner kick. It was a corner kick reload, and she was able to head it in against Cal Poly earlier this season. Stanford takes a 1-0 lead over UCLA in the 44th minute here at Kagan Stadium. The kickoff over the end line as Stanford now gets the goal kick. Head coach Paul Ratcliffe talked about how set pieces could be the difference maker. He may turn out to be right if Stanford can hold off this UCLA offense in the second half.
And it's interesting because UCLA rather, I thought had more of the offensive rhythm at the beginning of this first half, and then things started to shift a little bit. We saw some momentum being created out on the flank with Montoya and Williams. Eventually earned the corner that got them the 1-goal lead on the set piece.
Cook swings this one wide for the Bruins. Bruins on the right flank, Desiano working in the corner. Stanford goes down, play on, cross swung in, shot on goal, deflected. Evans was there to make the block. As the final seconds approach in this first half.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Campbell will just toss one out to Rubenstein as the buzzer sounds. Stanford with a 1-0 lead over top-ranked UCLA after the first 45 here at Kagan Stadium. A really hard-fought match so far, and we'll have much more for you coming up just after the break here on Pac-12 Network. It's Stanford, UCLA, 45 more minutes coming up. Stick with us. Welcome back to Stanford, California. Inside of Kagan Stadium, the temperature is dropping, but the action is just heating up between the Stanford Cardinal and the UCLA Bruins. Kylan Mills alongside former Bruin Tracy Bailey. Glad to have you with us here as we get ready for second half action on the farm. The first half, no shortage of excitement. What did you think about the way these two teams played?
I thought they played well. You know, they're feeling each other out, trying to figure out how to exploit each other, and I thought that UCLA started off on the front foot. Stanford then regained some confidence as they started to possess and started to find the wide areas successful for them, and eventually got a corner kick, and it was the set piece that was the difference in the first half.
1-0 lead for Stanford after the first 45. However, this match far from over, and you talk about two really talented sides. It doesn't get much more dominant than UCLA and Stanford in the past decade. Stanford or UCLA have been crowned Pac-12 champions in each of the last season since 2011. I think that speaks to the level of talent, not just for both these colleges, but in California, when you look at how many local players both these sides have.
Oh, absolutely. And I think even since when I played, it was a big East Coast heavy sport, right? A lot of the players on the national team were coming out from those East Coast schools, but this Pac-12 as a conference, and these teams, two teams in particular in UCLA and Stanford, have built solid programs. They've kept talent here in California, which I think speaks so much to keeping the talent, maintaining the talent, developing the talent. A lot of players coming out of both of these sides to the national team, to the professional level. So just some great things brewing here in California.
Absolutely, and making for a lot of fun collegiate soccer matches, including this one here on the farm as we get ready for the second half. The freshman Elise Evans, the difference maker so far in this one, as she is able to get on the end of the corner in the 44th minute, just before halftime. Now it'll remain to be seen if Stanford can hold that lead and hold off a really dangerous UCLA attack, including this young lady right here, Sunshine Fontes, surely looking to get the attack going for this Bruins side in the second half as we're just about to get underway. The senior captain for Stanford, Maya Doms, kicks us off.
And for UCLA, that's one name we did not call often enough, in my opinion, Sunshine Fontes. They're going to want to have her touch the ball more often and be involved in terms of the attack.
Fontes coming into tonight, 9 goals and 2 assists on the season, including that game winner against Arizona, which we talked about, on a really pretty finish from outside the 18. Something she does well is strike from distance. Just hasn't had any opportunities here today so far. Kosmeyer on the ball. Kosmeyer battling, playing physical. UCLA maintains possession. Big ball swung to the far side.
And that's a great ball and option for UCLA as Kosmeyer's starting to press. Those players for Stanford were pushing up. That ball is going to be on to really break that first line of pressure.
Fontes Pretty diagonal ball played forward to Desiano. Desiano cuts middle. Strike just wide by Sunshine Fontes. UCLA with their 6th shot on the match. Been able to create some chances, just not able to keep that one on frame, although Fontes did have some space there to take that one.
Well, and again, too, if you're UCLA, you don't mind her going for that one, taking that shot, because she is a player that can hit that. Didn't hit that last one like she wanted to, but she can certainly be dangerous and score from that spot.
Fontes, a player who's really developed during her time at UCLA, something Coach Awasaza said. She noticed just how fit she came into camp and how ready she came into camp this season specifically. Fontes also dealt with an ACL tear in her freshman season for the Bruins. It seems like she's really come a long way and prepared her body to play at this level, and she's making an impact this season.
And sometimes that's what it takes, right? Maybe perhaps a coaching shakeup for yourself to get motivated and to say, hey, you know, I want to be more of an impact player for this team. I want some more minutes, so I'm going to have to prove myself all over again.
Williams, speed, racing up the right side, cuts middle, launching a deflection across the box. Grubel now collecting. Grubel stays on the ball. Grubel cutting left. Grubel's cross finds Kosmeyer. Kosmeyer trying to heel that one towards goal, but she's blocked.
And Jaden Perry for UCLA doing a great job of trying to stay right with Kosmeyer.
No doubt Kosmeyer is a player these opposing defenses know about and are ready for. She's a player you have to mark really tightly because she can be a threat from anywhere. Stanford now possessing out the back as Ike has space in the middle. Ike cuts right, back into pressure. Intercepted by Fontes. It'll just bounce a little too far off her foot. Stanford back in possession. Williams cuts middle. Ike cuts right. Ike's strike low and wide. No problem for Lauren Brisky as she'll get the goal kick.
And again, another player that you don't mind taking a shot from that distance because she clearly is able to crack it. Didn't get as much as she wanted on it, but still a lot of pace on that shot.
Doms returns for the Stanford side after coming in off the bench in the first half, remaining in that 10 spot, facilitating the Stanford attack. UCLA working, real. Getting forward, it'll go out of bounds. Bruins will get a throw in. UCLA trying to make something happen, and they're attacking third. Ball played back in. McMahon trying to collect. Stanford plays a big ball forward. Kosmeyer tries to run it down, dragging down a defender with her. No call. Kosmeyer on the attack. Kosmeyer looking to launch one from distance as Brisky was a bit off her line, but that shot was blocked.
Real just try to slow things down for UCLA.
Kosmeyer, a freshman who's had no trouble adjusting to the speed or physicality of the college game. You see how physical she is up there, and she has such a big presence, battling for every single ball. We saw a little collision there that maybe was a no call that could have been called.
And I think one thing about Kosmeyer is that she's just so deceptively quick, and she's so good with her feet. The ball at her feet, she's got some soft feet, great skill, very technical player.
On that last possession, she also really had her head up as she was looking to see, is the goalkeeper off their line? Can I look to catch someone off guard and to launch one from deep?
I think that's one thing that makes you such a good goal scorer, just having that nose for the goal, knowing where the keeper is at all times, understanding where the goal is at all times. You don't really even have to take a look up to know where you're shooting.
Pagador with loads of space on the left flank, starting to be closed down quickly. Nice cut by Pagador to fend off Ali Cook and maintain possession for the Card. Pagador with space again on the left flank, a player who's impressed Coach Ratcliffe, really growing into the game. Ike finds Leontini. Leontini now out wide. Williams on the ball. Williams swings another ball wide, and that'll go over the end line.
That's a beautiful sequence by Stanford. Great patience to swing the ball to the opposite side, switch the field, and then it was 2v1 overload with Williams and Rubenstein.
Rubenstein's an outside back who's not afraid to get into the attack. Numbers advantage. Stanford trying to get behind the ball. Well won by Evans. It looked like that could have been a dangerous chance for UCLA, as initially they had a 4v3 for a second. Bruins now working out the back. Riley on the ball. Wesley does well to step up and win it back. Williams just mistouches that one, and UCLA will send it forward.
Looks like UCLA is just a bit out of sync, just a few inches or feet off sometimes at moments. Maybe checking too when the ball's played in behind, so they've got to get back that rhythm that they had, especially in that first part of the first half.
Stanford looking to create something on this left side as Pagador will take a throw. Dom's checking to the ball. Pagador battling after a tough pass back to her bouncing. Good step by Leontini. Dom switching fields. Rubenstein. Rubenstein, diagonal ball forward, deflected away. Turner sends it back. UCLA will reload. Ball intercepted by Pagador. Gets a push from Cook. Whistle's blown. That'll be a free kick.
Look a little frustrated with the call there, but great work by Pagador.
Pagador with space, looking to swing one in. Misplayed ball will land at the feet of Turner. Finds Lemos. Lemos to Deciano. She sends a direct ball forward, easily into the feet of Ryan Campbell.
Well, that's a tough ball to ask of Raylan Turner, even if she's able to get something on it. It's so tough to bring down as you're running the opposite direction.
If you're UCLA and you're down a goal, do you think they try to stay patient and continue to possess, or play more direct like they're looking to do?
Well, I think there's time and moments to go either way. I think that there's plenty of time in terms of the game clock to be able to continue to do your style, possession style. But I think that the movement off the ball has to pick up for UCLA. A lot more options in terms of going forward. It seems like they're having trouble breaking the lines of pressure and really getting into a rhythm offensively.
Paul just squeaks through. Ike finds Doms. Doms keeps it in bounds. Back to Williams. Williams to Leontini. Leontini finds Grubel.
What you don't want to do if you're UCLA is to continue to have to exert so much energy chasing Stanford as they possess.
Wesley comfortably swinging it back to Evans. Stanford showing a lot of patience as they just keep possession, don't force, wait for the moment to get forward. Well won, a series of UCLA tackles there on the far side results in a whistle and a free kick for the Bruins.
Not sure exactly what the call was there, but perhaps he was waiting to see if there was an advantage for UCLA to get out quick on the counter.
Bruins countering. Lemos tries to slot one forward to Turner, well read by Evans, who clears it away.
And it just looked like Turner didn't have the jets to go to make that run. So again, UCLA has to recognize what runs their front runners are trying to make. Turner exerting a lot of energy a few moments ago, getting back and doing the defensive work.
Maya Doms is tripped by Ali Lemos. Immediately the whistle blows and the card is out. Lemos clearly goes after Maya Dom's body, does not connect with the ball. And
Lemos clearly coming from behind Maya Doms and where Maya Doms was trying to go and attack. So I agree with the call there.
It was shaping up to be a dangerous counterattack for Stanford as Doms intercepted a poor pass and had loads of space in front of her as she was getting into that attack. Williams finds Kosmeyer, who just loses it. Kosmeyer now with a hard push from behind.
But again, you applaud the effort and the work from Kosmeyer. She gives up the turnover, but she does not continue or quit. She continues to try to win the ball back. You can see there clearly pushes down Real for UCLA.
Real now back up and will take the kick for the Bruins. Wesley stepping forward. Ball swung wide to Desiano. A little bit of a miss kick. Good battle by Pagador. Tough battle down this flank. Here comes Marin Valencia trying to collect.
And for UCLA, number 17, Lexi Wright.
Substitution now for the UCLA Bruins. Sophomore Lexi Wright enters the match. She's a player who's made a difference for this Bruins attack with 3 goals and 5 assists on the season, 11 points tied for third on the team. Wright also made an impact the last time these two teams played. In fact, she had the game-winning assist against Stanford last season when these two sides met. Ball cleared forward and out of pressure for Stanford. UCLA now on the throw.
It's a good try by UCLA, trying to inch up the field without throwing the ball in.
A lot on the line for these two sides in Pac-12 play as well. The Cardinal coming into this match 11-2-1 overall, 4-1 in Pac-12 play, sitting tied for second place along with USC. Meanwhile, the UCLA Bruins running the top of the table, no surprise, 13-0 on the season, 5-0 in Pac-12 action. The Bruins off to their best start in school history.
Well, and again, I think that's what makes this matchup here tonight so special. You have a top 10 matchup, but you also have Pac-12 play, and both of these teams want that crown. So soccer's a sport where you only play each team once. So they know that often if you don't beat the rival in terms of Stanford versus UCLA, then that might mean you might not win the title.
This Pac-12 conference loaded with talent as well when it comes to multiple teams in the top 25. USC, Stanford, UCLA, Washington and Washington State, both right there on the brink, getting votes. Like you said, meaning every game counts, but also anyone can win on any given night.
That's right. And Cal also snuck into the top 25 at 19 this week. So you're right. It's a lot of parity in this conference and no easy games.
And for Stanford, number 5.
This week on the pregame.
Husky fans are ready to go. We are looking forward to a good one here. That had me thinking, what's the toughest place to play in the Pac-12?
I think the place we're in right here. I played here. When this place is rumbling now, there ain't a whole lot of places in America like Husky Stadium. I think coaches still having nightmares and flashbacks about that horn going on.
This is a tough place to play.
We're having a howling good time with the Huskies, live from Seattle, Saturday at 10:30 on Pac-12 Network, presented by Paycor.
An interesting switch here for Stanford as Sierra Angie returns to the match. It looks like she'll be playing in the 10 spot as Lumi Kosmeyer is relieved to the sidelines. Maya Dom sliding up now into the 9 spot, or that striker role that Kosmeyer had been playing in. Doms typically plays in that attacking midfielder role. It'll be interesting to see how this shakes up the attack for Stanford with her now up top. Doms applying some pressure. Doms not letting anything out easy for this Bruins side as she tries to run down a couple balls passed around the back. Missed tackle results in space for the Bruins. Shot cracked just over the crossbar. Not a bad look by number 19, Quincy McMahon.
Well, and she's doing all that work from that left back position, and a great ball in to find McMahon. That short diagonal ball that we talked about a little bit earlier for UCLA, from Real to find McMahon, and just an excellent attack. She had the space as the defender committed from Stanford. Had a couple of options to either find a teammate or shoot on goal. She took the shot, didn't miss by much.
Ball out wide to Desiano. Cross the swung into the back of the 6. Bounces, no one able to get a foot on that. It looked like a good spot with players crashing.
Great ball in. She had a couple of white jerseys trying to get on the end of it.
And here we have the latest Pac-12 standings. UCLA coming in at number 1, or rather Pac-12 teams in the top 25, according to the U.S. Soccer Coaches Poll. Tracy mentioned Cal just sneaking in for the first time this week on the season. However, both Washington and Washington State previously have been ranked in the top 25. Cal upset Washington State and Washington both last weekend, getting a really huge pair of victories. UCLA, though, really running the table when it comes to those top 25 rankings. 6 consecutive weeks at number 1.
It's just remarkable, too, that big weekend that they had at Duke and at North Carolina, getting 2 huge wins in 1 week.
Stanford with a couple of big wins of their own, including a 2-0 victory over 8th-ranked Penn State early in the season here on the farm. Their first win over a top 10 opponent since 2019. Free kick into the box, a laser lands at the feet of Evans. Angie out to Williams. Williams pass intercepted. Bruins working their left flank. Doms comes back, wins it. Stanford now sails one out of bounds.
And I think we're starting to see the commitment of getting numbers forward for UCLA.
Mary Carmen Reyes getting some action here for the Bruins. Good step by Pagador, just trying to get it off her foot. Whistle blows.
Pagador doing a great job to step in and read that last ball in, but Riley making it a little too easy for Pagador. When you play that ball into your attacker, you want to play it to the side where the defender is not, and it seemed like she was feeding it right into where Pagador was.
Reyes running down that last ball, and she's a player with a lot of international experience, a part of the Mexico national team, which qualified for the 2022 CONCACAF Championship, scoring 3 goals during qualifying action.
That's right. Mary Carmen just got back from a trip for the Mexican national team where they played an international friendly against Chile in Mexico City. Mary Carmen did not play, but she did travel and dress for that match and was able to get back and continue to work out and practice this week with UCLA.
Reyes is a player with an interesting journey, was a part of the Pac-12 all-freshman team in 2018 and then missed most of the next 2 seasons due to knee surgeries. Able to come back and return to action in 2021, and now coming back as a graduate student for her final year for the Bruins. Wesley slid to clear that ball out, almost came right back at her.
I think anytime a defender goes to ground inside the 18, you hold your breath if you're that team. But Stanford coming out of this with giving up a corner kick, but this is a chance for UCLA to get back in this and get things going off of a set piece.
A big opportunity ahead for the Bruins. Lemos crosses in near post, headed away. Fontes sends it back, it sails over.
Stanford looking sharp on that last opportunity off of the corner from UCLA, doing well to clear it. And then they'll take that shot from a tough angle from Fontes.
And for Stanford, number 18, Avani Brandt.
The Cardinal with another substitution as sophomore Avani Brandt enters the match. Playing it outside back in place of Paige Rubenstein.
Rubenstein has been doing a lot of work in that outside right back position, not only defensively, but she's been getting up the line and getting some nice looking crosses in.
Grubel trying to get there. Couple of pushes results in a whistle. Bruins have the kick after Jaden Perry did well to stay strong on that ball. Lemos will take the kick again. Bruins lining up the edge of the 18. Big ball swung in towards the penalty spot. Campbell leaping, catches easily.
It looked like there was perhaps a foul on the play. But a nice ball in, really dangerous. You can see there just the 2 hands coming out from Lexi Wright, and I believe that was the foul in the call on the play.
Campbell reading well, coming off her line well. A player who's gaining a lot of confidence for this Stanford side as she gets more games under her belt. A shot to Campbell into her hands. She'll scoop it up.
You know, a nice little combination inside in the middle of the field between Cook and Reyes.
Evans, big ball forward. Feels like the momentum has shifted once again here in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and I feel like there's more energy from UCLA. We talked about a little bit earlier, a few moments ago. They're really starting to commit numbers forward and to have options in the attack where that wasn't the case.
Couple more substitutions for both sides as number 9 Sophia Cook will enter the pitch for the Bruins. Meanwhile, number 11 Catherine Paulson makes her way into the match, replacing Sierra Engie. Paulson, a redshirt sophomore who's having a really nice season here on the farm. 2 goals and an assist on the year.
That's just great defending by Wesley for Stanford. Using her body to make it difficult for UCLA to bring that ball in.
Pagador on the throw here as we approach the 71st minute. Stanford still holding a 1-goal edge over UCLA. Bruins looking to change that though, as they are applying a lot of pressure here in the second half as we approach the 71st minute. Fontes with space. Tried to just do one more move before firing and ends up losing the handles. Push from Lemos, no call. As Doms goes down. Real sends a ball in. Bouncing almost in, but Ryan Campbell reads it well.
Well, and again, it's the commitment to the numbers inside the box from UCLA. There were 3 jerseys in there for Real to pick out. You can see it actually went off and deflected off of Wesley from Stanford, but great read and reaction from Ryan Campbell.
Another set of substitutions. Desiano retires to the sidelines for the Bruins. Quincy McMahon now playing up here on the right flank. Pretty piece of skill work, little give and go, a couple of pushes and a whistle on the far side.
Mary Carmen Reyes fell a little bit awkwardly.
She looks like she's holding her wrist as she is wincing in pain. Up and on the move though. The Bruins with another set piece in a really nice position to swing a dangerous ball in the box.
And it looks like Sunshine Fontes is lined up to take this free kick, and this is a player that can go direct and have a shot on goal at this angle.
Fontes, low shot blocked by the wall. Stanford with a huge stop in the 73rd minute.
That was a huge stop. And the wall doing its job there as Fontes doesn't get it up and over the wall.
The crowd here at Kagan Stadium erupting into cheers as the Card were able to just send that ball forward. Set pieces, an area of concern, according to Stanford coach Paul Ratcliffe heading into the weekend. So far, it looks like they've been marking pretty well.
They have been, and again, we talked a little bit about it earlier on, just being locked in mentally. That's all set pieces are, knowing your responsibilities and making sure you're taking care of those responsibilities. So the wall, the responsibility to deflect anything coming at it, they did their job there.
It's always a little bit nerving to be in the wall too, especially when you have a player like Sunshine Fontes, who has a bullet coming off her foot coming at you.
Or Ike on the other side.
When you were a player, you were at least on the shooting end, not the wall end of those plays,
I was in the wall a lot, being a taller player, yep.
Okay, then you know.
You, come back here and help us with this wall. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I will.
Stanford wall coming up big here as we approach the latter half of this match. The Card with a 1-0 lead over the Bruins. Big diagonal ball forward.
Great ball.
McMahon able to keep it in bounds. McMahon working at the edge of the 18. Trying to get something off. Lays it back, crosses in. Evans clears it. Doms will send it towards the sidelines. Real trying to keep this ball in play. Real now. Launches with her left foot, ball in the box. Campbell, a little hop to herself, but collects.
Real for UCLA, starting to come to life on the offensive end. Being involved in a lot of the last few sequences and plays for the Bruins.
Real is a player with a lot of experience. In just her second season, however, started 19 games as a freshman, a first-team All-Pacific Region and All-Pac-12 selection, named to the Top Drawer Soccer's freshman best 11 first team. And she was a starter on the US U20 team that won the 2022 CONCACAF Under-20 Championship. So certainly a player with a skill set to make a difference on this team, even from that back line.
And I think what really sets her apart is that she has a tremendous left foot that has the ability to find her player on a dime over a long amount of space. So she can pick players out at a distance and hit them.
That last ball, she picked out McMahon. Not an easy one to play clear across the field. Another couple of substitutions. Turner now up top for the Bruins as Fontes takes a break. That ball called offsides, it looks like.
Yeah, I think it was Sophia Cook was behind the last defender for Stanford, but a nice little touch from Turner trying to find Cook.
Here comes Lemos. Lemos, pretty flick into the middle. Reyes fires. Stanford avoids a dangerous goal-scoring opportunity there.
And again, it's Ryan Campbell coming up big for Stanford as Mary Carmen Reyes receives this ball on the turn, has plenty of space in front of her. No one steps. She just cracks it. And Ryan Campbell comes up huge, able to tip this one over the bar.
Stanford not out of trouble yet, though. The corner kick about to come in for the Bruins. Ball played across, near side of the 6. Deflected out of the 18. Another shot deflected away. A swing and a miss for Ike. Bruins maintain possession. Another cross deflected away. Bruins really relentless in their attack. These final minutes, Paulson battling, goes down. Late whistle.
I'm not sure what the hesitation was on the whistle, but the foul against the Bruins. And again, Stanford doing a great job of really being locked in defensively.
It seems like there's some times where they need to close down maybe a little bit quicker. I feel like that's maybe one of the only areas for improvement is UCLA is able to fire some shots up from around the edge of the 18.
Yep.
Bruins on the attack. McMahon out to Turner. Turner swings a ball in. It's headed away. Stanford just clearing it towards the sideline after Maya Doms tips that one. Bruins looking really sharp at getting the ball wide and swinging balls in. Slotted ball forward to Turner. A little bit too much on that cross. Bruins collect again. We're in Valencia battling. Wants a call, no call will be made. Rubel trying to run this ball down. UCLA maintains possession, looks to reload and go again. Real on the ball.
Stanford really dropping back right now.
Big ball out of pressure by Elise Evans. Back on the foot of Real. Finds Riley. UCLA will possess out the back, switching fields now. Back up the left flank. Stanford smothering that opportunity. Williams sends that one out of bounds. Bruins get it back in play quickly. Bruins out in space. Just bounces back into the feet of a number of Stanford defenders, really getting behind the ball and clogging up the middle. The whistle blows. It'll be a free kick for the Bruins. Ivani Brandt not happy about the call. Didn't feel like she deserved the booking.
Well, Mary Carmen Reyes down again. It looks like Brandt will get issued the yellow on the play.
Almost the same spot the Bruins just had that dangerous free kick from a couple moments ago when Fontes sent it into the wall.
Fontes out of the game.
Shots on goal, and it's just wide. Campbell didn't have to get a touch on that one, as it just was off target on that near post.
That was Lemos, the freshman, stepping up.
21, Paige Rubenstein.
Paige Rubenstein returns to the match now, back at her post, the right outside back position. Replacing Brandt, who just received that last card. Whistle blows as we surpass the 80th minute here at Kagan Stadium. Stanford holding a 1-0 lead, however, having to weather a lot of pressure from this UCLA side. The Bruins really getting a better rhythm going here as the second half has gone on. Another whistle from the official. And he'll indicate ball goes back to Ryan Campbell for another kick.
The clock is still running, so I'm not sure what's happening.
Clock is running. And the clock is on Stanford's side at this point to the Cardinal.
They reset it, looks like the 79:55.
As they should. Clock is reset after a couple of stops there. Stanford appears to clearly be really just dropping in and trying to defend at this point and hold that 1-0 lead.
You're right, and I think that's where UCLA can afford to send those numbers forward as they continue to try to press to get that tying goal.
Grubel challenging the 50-50 will hit the pitch. UCLA on the attack. McMahon sends it back, they'll reset. Lemos with space. Dom's defending Lemos, she'll send it wide. Riley tries to get a ball across, just couldn't quite get her hips around it.
Yeah, and she did have the space. She had one defender in front of her, so even take another touch if you're Riley there. Try to get a better angle on it, get in line, which make it a little bit more difficult for the Stanford defenders.
And for UCLA, number 33, Allie Cook.
Not a big surprise as Sunshine Fontes returns to the match for the Bruins. One of their biggest threats in their attack. Allie Cook also returns to the match for Sophia Cook. Paulson speeding towards this ball, trying to win it. Can't quite get there. McMahon did well. Stanford tucks back in. Bruins with space, getting into the attack. Stanford with all 11 behind the ball now. Streaking forward is Real. Real takes one herself. Campbell with another impressive save, and Real with another impressive run forward.
Oh, and again, it's attacking the space in front of her. It was Lemos on the take. Nobody steps from Stanford. She says, okay, I'm going to keep on going. No one steps still. And she says, okay, I'm going to crack this one in net. But again, another save from Campbell.
UCLA's corner swung in, middle of the 6, batted away by Campbell. Ball still bouncing. Cleared away and out of pressure. Leontini sends that ball in a ride. UCLA not done yet though. Ryan Campbell now with 5 saves on the match, certainly putting in the work. Williams working the right flank. Williams just takes that ball out of bounds. UCLA with a throw back in. Bruins now on the counter. UCLA working the left flank. Cross attempted, cleared away by Wesley. Bruins still battling. Fontes juggling with herself, just pretty skill. Bruins in the box. Into the hands of Campbell. The Stanford goalkeeper continuing to be a brick wall between the pipes. Another save for Campbell.
Well, just so tough has Campbell been throughout this match. And again, reads it well, knows that she cannot let this go through or even get a slight deflection on it because there were white jerseys lurking.
Fontes tries to fire one, deflected away by several Stanford defenders. Wesley now way out of position, trying to run this one down. She'll back off and drop back in. UCLA will go again. Bruins continuing to press. Riley plays it out wide. Another cross in the box. Wesley misses. Rubel there this time to connect, clear that one out.
Well, and as that space becomes so compact.
Lemos with a pretty chip, headed away. Second ball bouncing. UCLA trying to create enough space to take the shot. It doesn't happen. Lemos, another chipped ball forward. This time, Campbell off her line, and she comes up big. This UCLA side playing pretty direct.
And she continues to impress. As this ball heads towards the end line, and it looks like it was out of bounds, but wow, Ryan Campbell is having a night.
Campbell, the Pac-12 goalkeeper of the week for October 2nd.
Nice little chipped ball in, lofted in. You can see Campbell just rises above any other player, punches it out of danger, doesn't want to take any risks.
Campbell, the Pac-12 goalkeeper of the week last week, a .71 goals against average, good for second best in the Pac-12. .763 save percentage, fifth best in the Pac-12. A player who continues to gain confidence and get better and better with each game, according to head coach Paul Radcliffe. Battle in the left corner, ball slotted back across the box, no one there. Dom just sends it to the sidelines. Quick throw back in. UCLA desperate to get the equalizer as we approach the 86th minute. Ball in by Lemos. 2 UCLA players there, defended well. Evans with the block, another shot from Fontes over the crossbar.
And this is just relentless pressure by the Bruins. And Stanford able to deal with it at the moment.
This Bruin side desperate to get the equalizer with just over 3 minutes remaining. Not a lot of time. Kosmeyer back in the game. Now playing at the 9, trying to run this one down. Lemos will play it back. Fontes swings it wide. Lemos now, one more wide. A tough battle on the far side. won by Stanford. Here comes Real. Bouncing ball across the box. Leontini connects and sends it wide.
You just see a lot of black jerseys dropping down, especially in these last about 10-15 minutes. So for UCLA, it's going to be about the movement off the ball.
Pretty pass forward, trying to make something happen. The crowd not happy with a no call as Cook hits the deck. Real with space. Real getting forward. Real sending a tough ball in. Wesley deflects it out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick for the Bruins.
Seemingly it feels like UCLA is getting more dangerous off these set pieces and these corner situations.
Freshman Ali Lemos standing over this corner, sends it in, middle of the six, batted away by Campbell. Big ball played out by Grubel.
And it's Stanford doing a great job of dealing with the pressure, dealing with the set pieces, staying locked in defensively.
This ball sent sky high by Ike as she just gets a foot on it. Stanford just with a lot of numbers behind the ball. Kosmeyer now on the dribble. Kosmeyer to Leontini. Leontini plays a big ball towards the Cardinal bench. It'll go out of bounds for a Bruins throw-in. I mean, what more can this UCLA team do to try to get a goal at this point?
I'm not sure. I mean, they're definitely throwing numbers forward. They're being aggressive, attacking the goal.
There is 1 minute remaining.
One of those rare moments you just saw Paul Ratcliffe getting up off the bench and showing some emotion. Always such an even-keeled coach. You can see he's a little bit fired up here as we approach the final minute.
Well, I think he's trying to give his team some energy as they're exerting a lot of it right now, just trying to see this game out. That's Ike on the ground for Stanford.
Ike hops up with a little bit of a limp. She makes her way towards the sidelines. Ivani Brandt returns to action for the Cardinal. Filling in as Ike goes down. Real getting forward. Real finds Fontes. Fontes with space. Now defended by Williams. Fontes. Several defenders on her. Wesley there is the second defender to clear that away.
Well, and what's interesting about Fontes, you saw two defenders from Stanford sliding with her, so clearly aware of who the game changers are for UCLA. They don't want to let Fontes have the ball going at the goal with the ball at her feet.
Fontes with a pretty chip. Several players going down in the box. Cleared away by Stanford.
Well, and the UCLA players not happy that nothing was called on that last play. Felt like there could have been a foul call there.
The final seconds tick away and a massive win for the Stanford Cardinal as they dish the first loss of the season to the UCLA Bruins. Stanford takes a 1-0 victory here on the farm.
Well, and it was thought by Coach Paul Ratcliffe that it was going to take an individual moment of brilliance, perhaps a set piece with these two really tough, talented teams, and in the end, that's what it took. Stanford able to get on the board first in the first half with the corner.
UCLA yet to lose this season or even tied this season, and creating so many dangerous chances there down the stretch.
Well, and unfortunately for UCLA, it was a little bit too late, in my opinion. That second half really committed to getting those numbers forward. We saw a lot more aggressive nature in terms of attacking the goal, but Stanford doing so well to deal with that pressure, and in the end, just not able to get one in was UCLA.
The 9th-ranked Cardinal earning a win over a top-ranked opponent for the first time since 2002. And one player they've got to give a lot of credit to is their goalkeeper, Ryan Campbell. Let's take a look at her effort tonight because she was fantastic between the pipes.
Oh, she was unbelievable today, and she was definitely up for the task from the moment the whistle blew. This was in the first half from UCLA. A lot of balls sent in. Campbell doing well to deal with all of them, and this shot from Mary Carmen Reyes. Campbell able to just hit this one over the net. She was coming off her line, punching balls out when she needed to, catching balls when there wasn't the traffic in front of the net. She was everything for Stanford here tonight.
Stanford needed every bit of effort from Ryan Campbell as she hugs one of her former coaches in UCLA coach Marguerite Awazasa, the former Cardinal assistant, who helped recruit Ryan Campbell here to the farm. If you're UCLA, what do you take away from this match moving forward?
Well, I think you're happy with the second half, but you want more of a complete game. I feel like that second half, they showed a lot more attacking prowess. They saw a lot more creativity, so you just want to see that a little bit earlier.
These two teams now with a heated battle down the stretch in Pac-12 play as the Stanford Cardinal improved to 5-1 in Pac-12 action. The Bruins fall to 5-1 in Pac-12 action. Not the last we'll see of these two teams. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Pac-12 Network. For Tracy Bailey and the rest of our crew, I'm Kylan Mills saying so long. We'll see you next time.